In a vast universe, 40 billion years old and containing 500 billion galaxies, science is convinced that there must exist, or must have existed, extraterrestrial intelligence. In this vastness, it would seem that there should be fullness of life out there. With this conviction, human beings have searched for it and still search for it incessantly. State-of-the-art radio telescopes track the sky day and night, year after year, in search of any sign of extraterrestrial intelligent life. Nevertheless, in 2009, everything changed. That year, NASA launched the Kepler satellite into space. And thanks to it, we have found thousands of Earth-like planets where conditions for life might be possible. This has meant, undoubtedly, a total revolution in the search for extraterrestrial intelligent life. On August 15th, 1977, a strange signal from the constellation Sagittarius was received by the Big Ear radio telescope. The signal, known as the WA signal, reached an intensity up to 30 times higher than the usual signals and had a duration of 72 seconds. Its name comes from the note written at that moment by the person who discovered it, Jerry R. Eman, collaborator and SETI project, a project for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence founded by NASA in 1960. Given the millions of billions of Earth-like planets, life elsewhere in the universe, without a doubt, does exist. In the vastness of the universe, we are not alone. Albert Einstein. 4.5 billion years ago, in the vastness of the universe, the Earth, our home, was formed. From the birth of the universe, it took 14 billion years for human beings to arise, just 6 million years ago. To give us an idea of the time which has passed until our first steps, Carl Sagan made a time comparison in which, if the age of the universe was a year, the Big Bang would have occurred on January 1st. On September 8th, the Sun would have formed. On September 11th, the Earth would have formed. And we would have been born the last day of the year, December 31st, at 11:39. How many things must have happened in other places during the same time?
Today, when we take a look at what we know about the universe and what we know about the origins of life on this planet, it leads us to think that the same things that happened here might well have happened elsewhere. And so life beyond this planet is quite plausible in terms of the science that we know today.
We see the organic building blocks that are essential to life on Earth. And so the raw stuff that's necessary for life is out there. The places that life could live is out there. The big question is, do they come together and form a second Genesis?
We take up a tiny place in the immensity of the universe. The Milky Way, the galaxy we live in, might have around 100 billion stars. Among them, our Sun. In total, it measures around 100,000 light years in diameter.
Maybe there are a million, maybe there are a billion, maybe there are 100 billion planets in the Milky Way galaxy that could support life, the kind of planets that earthly life could survive on. How many of them have cooked up their own life?
Here, from one end of the Milky Way, we, an intelligent civilization, wonder if it's possible that we are alone in all of this vastness.
There's just a lot of real estate, a lot of room for life in space. We've now learned that planets are as common as cheap hotels. They're all over the place. There are 1 trillion, that's 1,000,000,000 planets just in our own galaxy. If there is no life on any of them, then Earth is a miracle. A miracle. And I'll tell you this, for scientists, believing in miracles is usually not a good strategy.
When we think about how vast the universe is, it would be incredible if there's no other life out there. There are hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and there are billions of galaxies in the universe. If life appears on only a minuscule fraction of those planets, then life is prevalent throughout the universe.
That's why human beings, in their enthusiasm for knowledge and exploration, have started the search for intelligent life, with the hope of, sooner or later, finding it, or being found by it. This search can be done in 2 ways: tracking signals that may come from any extraterrestrial civilization, or sending our own messages into space, which may be received by one of those civilizations someday.
Active SETI, also sometimes called METI, messaging extraterrestrial intelligence, reverses the roles. Instead of passively listening for a signal from another civilization, we send intentional, powerful signals to nearby stars in the hope of getting a reply back.
The chance of an imminent discovery brings with it a controversial question. What will the first contact be like? What could human beings say to another intelligent species? What introductory message can we compose about human beings, that species that inhabits one of the edges of the universe, and who have developed enough to wonder if there is anyone else out there, or to try to find them?
There should be a deliberative process to think about how we want to present ourselves to other worlds.
And that is a dynamic conversation that we're having now in the science community. Should we transmit? If we do, who should speak for Earth? What should they say? In what language? How?
My suggestion is to send the internet, right? Send so much information that they can look through it and find pictures, videos, sounds, text, of course, and they'll be able to understand it. It's sort of like the hieroglyphics.
It's not a simple task to ponder our first introduction to an extraterrestrial intelligence, and the even more complicated question of how to compose that message to make it understood.
How we would say something meaningful to another civilization. It is going to be one of the most tremendous intellectual challenges humankind has ever faced.
Several messages have already been sent to space, and we hope to receive an answer someday. The first sent message was attached to the Pioneer 10 space probe, launched by NASA from Cape Canaveral on March 2, 1972. A golden anodized aluminum plate designed by astronomers Carl Sagan and Francis Drake was affixed to the probe. It was a kind of an interstellar message in a bottle. On it, drawings of 2 human figures appear, one feminine and one masculine, with the image of the spacecraft behind them to show the proportion of the human silhouettes. Our address in the universe was also included, as well as a scheme of our solar system. Another similar plate was affixed to the Pioneer 11. The content of the recording was carefully chosen by NASA and a committee chaired by astronomer and author Carl Sagan. The audio section has a salutation in English from the UN General Secretary and short messages in 55 languages, welcoming and wishing peace to all forms of life. Today we know that the first contact may occur in not too a long time. It's not easy to figure out what will happen in this first communication, if it will be something positive or harmful to human beings.